Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to tap into your power to manifest the happiness, success, and fulfillment that you desire. I am your host, Niajae, the Upper Limit Coach. I am here to dismantle your limiting beliefs and remove the blocks so you can confidently live your life's purpose, because life is meant to be abundant. Hey M&Ms, thank you for listening to or watching the Abundance Hack podcast. Today I am joined by Scott Carson, who is the CEO of We Close Notes. So before we get into what he does and his awesome podcast, I want to ask you, Scott, what does abundance mean to you?
Abundance means, I think it comes down to mindset more than anything else. Abundance, I'm a big believer in abundance mindset, that there's plenty to go around. That's the way that I believe. It's the way we've operated our company for the last decade, 15 plus years, is that abundance means that I'm a big believer that God will provide, where there's a will, there's a way. That's what abundance kind of means to me. There's always enough to go around, enough deals, enough customers, enough clients, enough money in some sort of fashion. So that's kind of what abundance means to me.
Awesome. I love it. So tell us about your company and your podcast.
So yeah, I'm the CEO of WeCloseNotes.com. We are a kind of a very niche real estate investment company where we focus on buying distressed debt, distressed mortgages. If over the last 15 years, we've had just a few foreclosures in the country, a few people being upside down their houses. We carved out a niche back in 2008, 9, and 10 of reaching out to banks and hedge funds and actually buying portfolios of distressed debt, and then reaching out to the homeowners to try to keep them in their house, work some sort of fashion of trial payment plan, loan modification, whatever we could do to try to really create a win-win for the homeowners. No, I'm not a realtor. No, I'm not a mortgage broker. What we focus on doing is not fixing flipping houses, although that's a little bit of what we do. But our biggest thing is to rehab the borrower, as we like to say. So many borrowers have been hit, with financial hiccups, got sick, death in the family, went through a divorce, got laid off from work, or their values just dropped on them without them doing anything. And so our abundance mindset kind of comes in mind like, hey, we're here to help you. Let's figure out something that works. What can you pay? Let's create a win-win and really make it work. And 2 years ago, roughly, just under 2 years ago, we started this little podcast called The Note Closers Show. And it's just focused on the distressed debt side of real estate investing. We're been doing it now for 21. We just celebrated our 21st month. We're just south of 300,000 downloads.
Nice.
Over 500,000 views across YouTube, Vimeo, and Facebook. And then we just hit. We have a kind of a unique thing is that our podcast has been picked up by 17 different AM/FM radio stations across the country, and we just celebrated 2 million unique downloads to the radio stations' websites this last month. So very niche, love it. It's become a passion project of ours as far as providing content. It's kind of 50-50 between me sharing nuggets, secrets to the note industry, because I have an abundant mindset. You give tools to people, they'll either use or they won't. And then we bring on other people that kind of have that same mindset who are willing to share with our interviews and guest hosts.
Yeah, so I actually did a quick interview with you, and your sound effects were amazing.
I got them right here. Hang on a second.
I love it. So I want to dive a little deep, because I know we met at the New Media Summit, and I met a lot of people that are podcast hosts and a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners, but it seems like you have this machine going, like your business is running, you're doing so many amazing things with your podcast. And I actually reached out to Scott about like doing a podcast tour, and just, there's some people that are like, I don't want to do the work. And so that's why they're not seeing the success, but you're someone who takes action. So what do you say drives you to just take action?
So I come from a kind of a mass media background. When I was going into college, I wanted to be the next Dan Patrick from SportsCenter. All right. And I went into business after bouncing around a little bit. I went into business and finished with a business degree. And so my podcast started as Facebook Lives when Facebook Live first became kind of big, and they opened it up to everybody besides just Gary Vaynerchuk, back in 2016. I started doing just daily Facebook Lives, little bit, fly on the wall. What's going on in WCN world this week? What's going on in Scott Carson's world, as a way to kind of share with our students and our audience, because I do teach this across the country. So I have a pretty good following. Investors across the country that want to do what we do, or we teach what we do. And so I'm a big believer that we're all in the media business. All right. There are plenty of eyes, plenty of ears, I won't say nose, because the media is not really nose. They haven't figured that out yet. But plenty of places to share. And I think it comes back to that media background of like, hey, here's an opportunity to have my little niche show. But it also comes that in our business here, I'm the expert in my field because I've always placed a premium on marketing. And that, whereas a lot of people, they want to do a show, but then they don't want to necessarily do the work to market that show or product or coaching thing or class. They have a great idea, but they don't want to market. And most people, when they're working at JOB, they're not taught how to market properly because they're in their little, cubby holes. So when we come in, our first thing that we do when we walk in the office each day is, okay, what are we doing to market today? And we usually crank out a podcast episode of either me having somebody on, or I'm on somebody's show like yours today. So honored to be on your show. And that's the thing, is that if we crank out and put marketing first each day, it's going to marinate the whole day with good stuff. And it's going to lead to multiple other things happening. Whereas if it's just a, hot plate reminder on the back of the stove, I may not ever get to it. And that's where I think the big mind shift is to come. People say, oh, I'm going to do an hour a day and think about the last hour if I get to it, is make it a priority, because it feeds so much other amazing things in your audience. And I get the same thing from people say, oh my God, I was just talking to somebody a few minutes ago, an investor. He's like, man, you're everywhere. I'm like, no, you don't realize I film an hour a day, and through some cool tools, it populates it everywhere and makes me look like I'm everywhere. So, that's the thing, is it's easier than most people think. And I was actually hesitant of doing a podcast. And then my friend who produces my podcast, he's like, you just got to film the same stuff you've been filming, and we'll run with it and show you a couple tricks. I'm like, really? This old dog can learn how to do new tricks. Let's do it and go from there.
Yeah, I actually started out doing Facebook Lives as well. I did Facebook Lives every single day for a year straight. And then after that year, I went down to like 3 to 4 times a week for like the next 6 months. And then I'm like, I can't even find any of these videos. So I should put it in a podcast so it's more organized. Yep. And I don't have to like scroll through tons of videos and timeline to try to find anything. So it was probably the best decision I've made in a really long time.
So I got a little trick for you then. Have you heard of repurpose.io?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here. All right. Write this down. So repurpose.io, my buddy Hanny, who's up in Calgary, created this cool software that it links into your Facebook and like your YouTube accounts. Okay. And it'll go on and recognize when you do a Facebook Live, that it'll recognize that you upload a video to Facebook Live, and you can hit a button or two and it'll automatically upload it to YouTube.
Wow.
Or to pull all up, and you can manually add them to YouTube if you want to, but you can preset your hashtags, preset your titles, and then go back in there. And then it's like, I made the mistake. Like I had some of these older videos that I filmed on the side that I didn't want to go on my YouTube account. And I went on to repurpose, like, oh yeah, I'll just turn everything manually on. Sometimes I start seeing all these videos. I'm like, whoa, I don't want that on there, and having to go back. But it's like that. If you've got all that stuff on Facebook is phenomenal, and you do great stuff, and there's nuggets on there that, if you use repurpose.io, I think it's like $20 a month or $12 a month. Is ridiculously cheap.
That's not bad. It's going to save you so much time.
Oh, hours. Because, downloading from Facebook is one of the slowest downloads out there. And then having to re-upload it this way, it does all the work for you. You almost like go in and boom, 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 publish, and just walk away and it's done for you.
Do you create thumbnails for YouTube? Because they say the thumbnails are really important. And I feel like I spend a lot of time doing YouTube thumbnails for some reason. I don't know why it takes me so long, but it's a thing.
First of all, you're gorgeous. And so you want to make the right pose, and you want to get away from what Facebook likes to do for me and everybody, the stroke face. It catches you with the most awkward face looking out there, like anything does. So I think thumbnails are highly important. Roberto Blake talks a lot about that. He's a YouTube star. My friend Dana Garrison, who's also phenomenal on Facebook, talk about you something. And you've got an asset. You've got a face that people like to see. Purple hair, white. You've got your branding down to a T, which is phenomenal. And everybody listening or watching this should learn that, I love green. I got green everywhere. I'm not wearing a green shirt, but it's a green or black shirt a lot of times. And thumbnails are important because it's that 1 inch or 1690 by whatever, 820 or whatever it is. And when people are flipping through Facebook or YouTube, you want them to be attracted to you so that they go to your page, they see a lot of the same type of branding. It doesn't have to be the same face or the same pose, but you want it to be universal versus, oh, this looks like it's just some guy in his house with stroke victim face,
Yeah, brand recognition is really, really important. Yeah. So, okay, I want to dive a little deeper. So, what is something that has been challenging for you, and how did you overcome it?
Wow, we have all day. Challenging for me, and how did I overcome it? Okay, I'll take it back 10 plus years ago. In 2009, 2010, I was coming out of a couple of things. One, the mortgage industry debacle. I was a mortgage broker. All right, I'd gotten divorced in 2008 after a 7-year marriage and 10-year relationship, and was trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do because the market was in such an uproar here, right? A couple bad investment properties here. What I was doing with the note business was relatively new. It was kind of like hacking through a forest trying to figure out a path. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to focus on marketing. So I started one of the basic things, dialing for dollars in my business. We started dialing for dollars. I'd try to make 100 phone calls 3 times a week to bankers. And that led to getting deals sent to me. And I didn't have any funding at that point. I wasn't wealthy. I'd written a couple big checks at closings and I was basically broke. And so what I started doing is I started leveraging LinkedIn and Facebook. I would do simple things like take a good picture of the property and post it to Facebook and talk about the deal. And I would rinse and repeat. And I would just do this over and over again and use some of the free tools out there. Craigslist back in the day. There's a website called Postlets. They got bought by Zillow. But I just started sharing that and I started building an online following. All right. So I closed on a couple of deals and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to really challenge myself. And my lowest point, I was like, I'm going to challenge myself to make $100,000 in 100 days. And you know what? I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to film the whole thing. Okay. And so I started a blog on hubpages.com. The old blogging is still out there. Each day I would share what I did that day. What did I do to try to get myself further along? And I would share a photo of the property, or I would do a little recap video of what my day had been like. And by the time I got to day like 45 or 50, I was too busy with so many leads coming in and people reaching out to me with money that I didn't have time to finish up my blog. So I went back at day 100, said, hey, I beat it. I made $156,000 in my first 100 days here.
Wow.
Here's how we recapped it all out. But that was one of the things that people started following me from that and said, hey, I see your journey. I see you struggling. You're a normal person just like me, I'm learning so much from what you're doing. And it just kind of made this grassroots effort that really blossomed from people all across the country. And, it helped me make a decision about 6 months later. We were talking about this earlier. I sold everything here in Austin, Texas, and decided to jump on the road and travel across the country from doing the blog and people reaching out to me. I kind of, with it being baseball season, I said, well, I want to go to all the ball games. What would it take for me to do that? How many weeks would I have to need to travel to hit the seasons? Just as an idea. And people started reaching out to me based on the deals that I was posting, the blogs I was writing. Can you come speak on your little niche at our real estate club? I'm like, yeah, sure. When did you have them in mind? And they gave me the dates. And lo and behold, I call it divine intervention. Those dates matched up almost perfectly to when I would be in that town for a ball game on this mythical. And so I just put myself out there. I had faith in myself. I believed, okay, I didn't have a lot of money in the bank, but I started making some money. I was like, we'll close stuff along the way. I didn't have it all figured out. And what I thought would be 26 weeks on the road turned into 3.5 years of traveling nonstop.
Wow. That is amazing. I didn't even know that. That is awesome.
Yeah. I had some faith. Awesome. I had garage sales in Austin for 2 weekends. Sold everything except my truck and my dog.
I'm glad you kept the dog.
Oh yeah, Princess. I had her for 17 years. She passed away a few months ago, but literally that dog jumped in the backs. Oh, it's okay. She's in a better place. But it was so much fun, and it led to so many things. It just helped me skyrocket myself. And I just shared the journey with people. Like, hey, I'm not perfect. I screw up. I misspell things. I'm just me. I poke fun at myself. I do crazy shit just to make fun of myself. And I just have fun with life, and things go well. I'm a big believer that you build your own luck by just showing up and being ready to participate and share. And it's been amazing. That abundance mindset has come back tenfold and beyond to me with people reaching out to me. I had people when I was traveling like, oh, hey, do you want to crash on our lake house? Or do you want to crash on the couch? Or do you want, we've got a free condo you can stay in for as long as you want. I'm like, great.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Yeah, and I think that like scarcity and abundant mindset, like that makes the difference in everything. It really, really does. It really does. Wow, that is an awesome story.
It's a crazy story.
Is imposter syndrome holding you back from taking your business or life to the next level? Is your upper limit preventing you from achieving the success you truly desire and deserve? Because you do deserve an abundant life. Go to Niajae.com/transcend to register for my exclusive masterclass, Transcend Your Upper Limits. Learn how to navigate through the hurdles on the way to the success, the happiness, and the fulfillment you desire. That's Niajae.com/transcend, Niajae.com. It's time to transcend your upper limit.
I love Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is home, is where I live. And I've been back here in Austin for a while. It's always been kind of home since I graduated college just south of Austin, 2001. But, I've enjoyed the road. I enjoy traveling. Now, the beautiful thing about a podcast and things that are going on right now is I don't have to travel as much. We've, tweaked our business a little bit here recently in the last year because it's been a bit of a change in our industry with pricing kind of increasing, and there's a lot of different kind of changes going on in our industry. And so we have leveraged what we did with the podcast, which just started as just kind of a side thing. Mm-hmm. It's now really one of the main ways that we market our business now these days.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I remember when I was at New Media Summit, Steve asked like, who's monetizing their podcast? And I want to say, he said like, who's making like 6 figures with their podcast and business, and who's making 7 figures. And I feel like you were the only person in the room that may have raised their hand.
I'm making 6 figures with the podcast.
Or was it maybe it was 5 and 6 figures?
It was 5 and 6 figures. Yes, yeah.
So sorry if I messed that up.
No. Don't get me wrong. Our real estate side does well. I mean, we still make most of our money off of our real estate, and we have our education side of things. But we have transitioned that I really believe that we can hit high 6 figures, and if not 7 figures, in the next 12 to 24 months.
Wow.
What's amazing is, from what we're doing, we're cranking out episodes. We just hit episode 470, and I'm speaking to a lot of other guests, shows like yourself. I think it's a huge opportunity for people out there because we're all looking for guests of some sort. And it's amazing. I get people that call me almost weekly and say, hey, I've been watching your YouTube videos or been binging your podcast, and I want to sign up for one of your workshops, or I want to sign up for coaching, or I'd like to invest with you. And so you just have to put it out there. I think a lot of people want to record an episode, they want to throw it on iTunes, and that's it. They're like, let's set it and forget it, and the millions are going to roll in, right? And it's not like that. You got to have a funnel, and you're such an amazing ClickFunnels expert.
Thank you.
What you do. You've got to kind of put it out there for everywhere, because not everybody is when you think like some people, I just market on Instagram. Okay, that's 25 to 35 for the most part. If your ideal client is 45, that's not an ideal place to be putting. So the way I look at it, when you look at all the top 100 websites and you see that only like one website in the top 100 visited is even like a podcast, what's like Spotify, it's not even in the top 20. But Google's number 1, YouTube's number 2, Facebook is number 3, Twitter's up there, LinkedIn's up in the top 10 or 15. And that's the thing is we just take our one piece of content and we have a thing we call kind of like the content spider that we just throw it out everywhere. One piece of content, 8, 9 different places we post it, and it helps us snag clients or snag new customers in our virtual web.
I love it. I love it. No, I definitely don't ever want like my podcast to be about money per se, even though it's called abundance, it's more about fulfillment. But I think that there are so many industries where people have a scarcity mindset and they're like, podcasters are broke, or, you know, like you don't make any money podcasting, but it's not necessarily podcasting. I love that you took something that you were interested in, like found your own little like pocket and you just blew it up and you're having fun doing so. So what I want people to realize with this podcast is that there's so many opportunities out there if you just put yourself out there, which is exactly what you did. And even just taking your journey and speaking about it and trying to get to baseball games and stuff like that is phenomenal. So I think people just have to get over that fear of taking that leap and putting themselves out there, because there's so many exciting things you can do with life, with business, with podcasting. It's really amazing.
Yeah, you're so right about that. So many people are so scared to take that first step. And I kind of compare it to was it Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, where he's sitting there on this cliff looking over, and he's got to take that step out there to reach across to get the cauldron or whatever, you know, the urn to save his father, and he takes that first step, like, okay, he takes that step, and there's a path right there that suddenly shows up. Mm-hmm. Podcasting and marketing is so like that. There are so many people out there that so much information you can find, and the most successful people are the most really open to helping. You know, they're the ones that are most willing to share with things because they realize there's millions of people, and with 86% of podcasters listening in the United States, and some people are like, oh, it's oversaturated. What is there, 700,000 podcasts? Like, well, yeah, there's 700,000 podcasts, but only 250,000 of those people have done an episode in the last 12 months. You know, there's so many little, the riches are in the niches. And,
I love the sound effects.
Hang on one more time there for you. You know, you don't have to go around breaking and entering to find the secrets. You know, you have got such great knowledge with your show here, with others on different things, that it's important for people to realize, look, it's never been easier to get this out. And we're all in the media. Everything is video these days. You got to get over yourself and realize everybody has a face for TV now, not just a face for radio.
Yeah.
And realize that you got to share that stuff. Get out. People, there is somebody out there right now, not just one person, but hundreds, if not thousands of people that want to hear what you're dealing with, what your struggles are. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves to worship the winners, but what about those people that are going through the struggle? They're going to be the winner in 12 months or 24 months. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves the top of the iceberg. They don't see all the struggle beneath the iceberg, beneath the water that people had to go through. Yeah. And that's important. I mean, I love your story, talking about you went to work for ClickFunnels just to figure out how to do it after struggling beforehand, Yeah,
there's so many fluff programs out there, and I wasn't seeing the results I wanted. I'm like, I want to understand this. So yeah, it was definitely one of the best decisions that I've made, and who better to learn from than ClickFunnels. So
yeah,
exactly. But there's so much power in your story, like when you just share your story and be willing to be vulnerable with people.
That's the thing, is not every day is a peak, and there are valleys. Every entrepreneur has that. Yeah. What you have to realize is that over time, your valleys will be higher than your highest peaks ever were to begin with. Mm-hmm. What we used to thought was a win, now we're like, oh, not worth my time. But that's in a low spot. I'm like, we're still so much better off than we were 12 or 24 or 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you have to give yourself, kind of be like, you have to give yourself permission to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of the word, the quote that delivered is better than perfect.
I love that.
If you think about how many times iPhone has sent out a software update, think about that. They weren't perfect. They didn't set out the perfect product. They got it delivered first to market, and they realized that we're going to fix it as we go. Version 1, version 2, version 14, version 20. And that we all can learn a lot like that. Get it out. Get the episode filmed. Get it recorded. Throw it up online. Yeah, you're not going to like your first couple episodes, but at least it's out there. At least it's a shot across the bow, everybody. But I am here. I will not be, I will not be turned away, And you can go back and edit things. Like when we did our first 3 episodes, I got this horrible review from somebody. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, you know what? Thank you. We will do better. And think too, one of the big things that I live my life by anyways, is the rule of 33s. And this was given to me by a buddy of mine, Greg Reed, who's the author of Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold. He's also the producer for a movie coming out called The Wish Man, which is the story of Franka Shankowitz about the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh.
And Greg told me, he goes, Scott, you got to worry about 33% of people. I go, what do you mean by that? He goes, well, with our marketing and emails out there, we all have our tribe. We all got a circle that we influence, right? And there are 33%, a third of that group is going to love you because they love you. They know you. They've gone to school with you. They've hung out with you, drank beers, wine, or champagne, whatever. and they love you. No matter what you do, they're going to love you. Then on the opposite side, you've got 33% of people that are going to hate you no matter what. They don't care what sex you are, color of your skin, your race, ethnicity, how you wear. They're going to hate you just because they have a dark soul of a soul, basically. Okay. Unfortunately, when we do some marketing or when we do something new, we don't listen to the 33% that are supporting us. We listen to those 1 or 2 or 3 ugly people or namesayers that come from that ugly 33%. And what you have to do as an entrepreneur is you have to forget that ugly 33%, focus on the percentage of people that love you, and then the middle 33%, because those people are on the fence. They don't know you. That gives you the ability to go out and wow them. And then, so that's basically 66, 67%. That's 2/3 of your circle. That's a great place to start. What will eventually happen is the ugly side will either unsubscribe or they'll go off somewhere else, or they're going to see you struggling. They're going to see you that you finally overcome your obstacles. And now that, oh my God, he or she is really serious about it. Then they're going to come to the other side. They're like, oh, I knew you back when. And you're going to be sitting there wondering, like, really? You sent me those ugly emails. You called me an idiot, you two-faced SOB. They'll eventually come to the dark side because they're like, wow, I was wrong. And that happens. And there's nothing rewarding. A lot of times, sometimes that 33% is some of the people that are the closest to us, like our family or in-laws, things like that. It's okay. Oh yeah, I've loved you from the get-go. What? No. So that's the biggest thing. I mean, we all worry about somebody making fun of us. That's normal. You just got to have a little bit of a thicker skin and realize, hey, they're not doing it. Most of the time that jealousy comes from the fact that they don't have the huevos, is like to say the balls to go out and do something. And ladies, you all have balls. They're just a little higher up. Okay.
You are hilarious. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Okay.
You can use that. You can use that if you need to in your coaching. I'll give you permission.
Okay, so what when I stop laughing, all right. What are I have to get a sound machine. Like, my podcast needs it. Like, I need it in my life.
Tell you what, just email me your address. I'll ship one to you from Amazon straight to you. I start buying them in bulk now.
You should get a green one and put like your logo on it.
I should, but there's another one I have that like 16 ways to say the F word that I won't use here today. But anyway.
I have to hear that next time. All right. So what are 3 tips for living an abundant life?
3 tips for living an abundant life. I would say this is, 3 tips living for an abundant life. If you are start looking, instead of looking for a reason, the first one here, one of the most important things, instead of reason, being scared about what the worst things could happen, start thinking about what if the best things happen. What if what we did really worked? What if that email I sent really did? Versus like, oh, I can't send it out because of this and this. That's the first thing. Start thinking about the positives, the best solutions versus the negative, because it's going to happen somewhere in between there. It's very rarely the worst possible situation, although People worry about that. That's what they fixate on versus the possibilities. So focus on the possibilities, number one. Two, start planning. The first thing you can do is, especially when I see this a lot, I see this happen a lot with entrepreneurs. People leave their job, they get in the real estate side, and they get strangled by that flexibility of time, that freedom that actually strangles them. So the best thing you can do to live an abundant lifestyle is really, I'm a big believer of this, is start time blocking your day.
So powerful.
Start, if something's serious, like picking up your kids, they'll be on the schedule. Okay. But that's the thing. A lot of people, kids, they drop it off at 8 o'clock. They pick them up at 3 o'clock. That means you really have 6 hours to get something done. So you really need to maximize your time in that 6 hours, or maximize your side hustle from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Okay. So time block that. If you're working full-time at a full-time job, that's fine. Focus on your 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Okay. The third thing is get rid of your to-do list. I know that's a little weird, but I don't have a to-do list. I have a big rocks list.
Okay.
What I mean by big rocks, I know, right? Is when I walk in the office, I don't worry about making a list. Oh, I've got to sign this contract, or I got to do that. All that stuff will fit in around my day. What I want to focus on are the 3 biggest things that I have to get done. They're going to be the most revenue generating or most important, impactful things each day. Just 3 things. Okay. What happens with most people is they make this huge list and they start, skating away from the most important things by wasting all this time on little things that can be done at any time. If you come in with just 3 things and you focus on getting those 3 big rocks done, everything else will fit around it or can be delegated off, or you can get it later on. Unfortunately, a lot of people psych themselves out. Oh, look at all the stuff I got done. I'm like, really? The 3 things you didn't get done are the ones that you needed to focus on.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 kind of the big tips that I would give to people out there to live abundantly.
Yeah, it's a really prioritizing. And I tell people all the time that just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive. So making sure you're being productive. Yeah. Yeah.
Such a good thing, especially people like, oh, I don't have time to do a podcast. Yeah, you do. I just saw you spend 30 minutes looking at White House black markets, or you spent 30 minutes organizing your closet. I'm like, come on, And like one of the big things, I hate washing clothes. I hate washing and folding clothes. And Steph will do that because she works from the house a lot for us. But anyway, my pseudo spouse, you'd say, girlfriend, not married, as I joke, we're happy. But when I didn't have that, I didn't waste time washing clothes. It would take me 4 minutes to do my laundry, 2 minutes to bag it up and then go drop it off, and then 2 minutes to pick it up from the wash and fold side. And really, for like $1.25 a pound, it was so much cheaper because I had only spent 4 minutes doing my laundry versus 4 hours. And in those 4 hours, I was able to get a lot more stuff done. Even like if I wanted to go watch a movie, I'll go do that versus sitting home and wash clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely one of the most powerful lessons that I learned in business, how to delegate and outsource. And there was something I used to say, I felt like it was something along the lines of, don't do minimum wage activities. If it's something that you can pay someone else to do and it's going to free up your time. Yeah.
So here's a little tool that I use when I'm teaching my investors. So, most people are like, oh, I want to make 6 figures in a year. Okay, great. So if you want to make $100,000 in a year, great. Divide that by 50 weeks because you're probably going to work 50 weeks out of the year, right? So that's $2,000 a week. Okay. How many hours a week are you going to put to work? So 40 hours. Okay. Normal. I think it's a little low, but let's say 40 hours. 40 divided into 2,000 comes down to what? $50 an hour. So that's the number. You should have that written down. I'm worth at least $50 an hour. You're actually worth a whole lot more, but for the sake of the game. Now, if you see yourself doing something that you could pay somebody else to do for less than $50 an hour, that's an item to delegate. Virtual assistants, paperwork, running errands, give that to somebody who's $17 an hour. And then if you see something that you could do that was more than the $50 an hour, those are the jobs that you should be spending time on.
Yes.
So
that's a perfect breakdown. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So where can people find you online?
Really easy. Just go to WeCloseNotes.com. WeCloseNotes.com. I'm the second most famous Scott Carson online. The first one is an English soccer player. So,
oh.
Yeah. So if you see the I Heart Scott Carson. It's not my fan club, unfortunately. But WeCloseNotes.com. I've known as Scott Carson, the note guy, all over social media. You can go listen to the Note Closer Show on any of your podcasting platforms or on YouTube as well. Be honored to listen to. But can you guys, if you're listening to this right now, do us a favor, though. This isn't for me. Go out there and subscribe to her amazing podcast and leave a review. She didn't pay me to do that. But seriously, go out there while you're listening to this. Pull up it, go back, subscribe. You know you love it because she's just dropping knowledge bombs everywhere.
Yes.
and leave a review. There's nothing more rewarding than to hear somebody say, "Hey, listen to your show, love it. Heard this speak, heard this guest." You don't have to mention me, but other people do it. Trust me, it's so rewarding. Us podcasters put our heart and souls into our shows to really help deliver content, and that's one of the most rewarding things to see more people subscribe and more people leaving 5-star comments.
So true. So true. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And I love your sound effects. I tell you that every time, but I do. They're so fun. And you're such an awesome person to speak to. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, I'm honored to be on here, Niajae. Thank you so much. Great stuff you're doing. Keep knocking it out of the park, girl.
Thank you so much. All right, M&Ms. Until next time, love and light. Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.